It's not even controversial anymore.
People know in Florida their freedoms are going to be respected.
Miranda, good day, mate.
Good day.
We always see the stories here of new laws going into effect July 1st, and usually our new laws are dumb. But you guys have some new ones too. Any good ones?
Yeah, there's a couple good ones. Well, there's ones we've been talking about and covering on the show, like the constitutional carry is going to go into effect. Some of the gender bathroom ones we've spoken about are going to go into effect. But there's also a couple interesting ones. One of them, SB 214, basically prevents credit card companies from labeling gun and ammunition purchases underneath a separate, I guess, a separate product code or buyer code. And I thought that was interesting to go at the same time as, constitutional carry. I'm assuming a lot more people are going to be like owning and carrying firearms, which, I mean, in my opinion, should only maybe increase firearm issues in the upcoming months and years. So it's funny that they decided to do that. I mean, that's obviously like an attempt to make it so you can't track firearm purchases.
Right. You can't track it. And then if the government one day decides, hey, we want to take those away, they go and subpoena the credit card companies and they're like, who bought a gun? So do I think that's going to happen in our lifetimes? Who knows?
Well, perspective. And another one I liked was basically another law requiring schools to carry feminine hygiene products in the ladies' rooms. And oh man, that's something that did not happen when we were kids.
Yeah, you just, were bleeding out and didn't know what to do. Nicole looked at me like, don't say that.
Pretty
Nicole,
awful. You'd wind up in the
adults.
lost and found section pretty quick.
People don't know the hell. Does the law require that they be put in the male's bathroom too?
In Florida, I don't think we've gotten to that conversation yet.
Yeah.
But for now, we're going to start with the girls' restrooms. And I think that that's a great place to start with that. There's a bunch of other interesting ones that go into combating human trafficking and stuff like that. And some that I'm reading and I'm like, these just seem like they should already be a law. But, there's over 200. So Florida's changing fairly drastically this weekend.
I think there should be a limit to the number of laws that a legislature can pass during the session. Like, it gets into the hundreds. And I'm like, we already have so many. Do you need to pass more? I bet all our male viewers and listeners are very excited about the period talk today on Undivided.
Well, if they have daughters and wives, they should be excited about that because it definitely is something that will make their lives a little easier.
True. Okay, there's this crazy story about a quote-unquote intruder who wasn't actually an intruder, who was shot by a homeowner in Florida. Wild.
Yeah, super wild. A man, and this is just after 9 p.m. in the evening, his wife saw somebody in their backyard, told her husband went out there, shouted at the person. The person apparently did not respond verbally, but did start walking towards them. So it caused this Florida gun owner and homeowner to protect and stand his ground. And he fired off 30 rounds at his pool keeper. It was the guy that cleaned his pool. And I guess he was just running late on his rounds that day. And he ended up at their house super late without letting them know. And this guy's not going to be charged with shooting at this guy. One of the sheriffs had made a statement like, it's lawful, but awful.
Yeah.
So
that's a really good way to put it. I mean, if you're going to be there, and I imagine 9 p.m. right now in Florida, it's still like maybe a little light out, but not really.
Yeah, it's that kind of shadowy hour where, if somebody's in your yard and you probably can't make them out very well. But either way, I mean, it's kind of a good lesson for everybody because the guy did not get directly hit by a bullet, which is so surprising to me. He did get some bullet shrapnel injuries, but if you're going to own a gun, please learn to shoot, man. Take some lessons, target practice. 30 rounds in a residential neighborhood, just blasting off at some random person in your yard is just not how you stand your ground, in my opinion. But
I tend to agree. Oh, I don't know the whole circumstances, but even I think I could have probably hit him once. I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah. And even on the other end of the spectrum, being the pool keeper just doing his job, communicate with your clients. If you're going to wind up in somebody else's yard, make sure the homeowner knows you're going to be there. I photograph residential real estate, and I promise you, if the homeowner doesn't know I'm coming, I am not going. Period. And that's not even a safety thing. That's just courtesy. So Like do yourself a favor. And if somebody is like asking for who you are, maybe just respond.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I don't know why he didn't respond if he didn't hear whatever, but it's like when the Orkin man comes to our house, they send us a text and they knock on the front door and they let us know, like, hey, we're going to be in your backyard, all around your house. And I always appreciate that because, I don't want to be surprised by someone. Really quick, we can't, have a week without DeSantis. He was down at the border. He spent a lot of time down there and he's now put out his plan. And it turns out it's kind of similar to Trump's plans on the southern border.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. And honestly, I don't expect it to diverge too much from his plan because it's pretty, in line with what would probably work and also, party values and what the party's kind of looking to do. But it would basically end birthright citizenship. It would send some U.S. forces down south of the border to combat the drug cartels and maybe slow them down from crossing over our border and completing the wall amongst a whole bunch of other things. But it is pretty similar.
Is he saying that Mexico is going to pay for the wall?
I haven't read anything about who he thinks is going to pay for the wall. He's a pretty reasonable guy. So I think that if he ends up president and wants the wall built, he's going to find a way to build it, whether it's Mexico and the taxpayers of the United States. I don't know. But
yeah, Mexico's not paying for the wall. I think DeSantis knows that. Okay, Miranda, well, we sure do appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's not even controversial anymore.
People know in Florida their freedoms are going to be respected.